There's everybody. What's up, everybody? Welcome to today's DLLS Cowboys podcast. We got a new backup quarterback, baby. Cowboys making more trades, plus everything you need to know from the owners' meetings. Clarence Hill's got the scoops, plus how Dak's doing. 30 visits that the Cowboys are having, draft, nuggets, all sorts of greatness on today's show, and it starts meow. Today's DLLS Cowboys podcast. Welcome in. That would be the first person who chatted on today's show. Please hit the like button and make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We sure do appreciate you. If you're watching on my channel today, make sure you're going over to the DLLS Sports channel, giving it a follow. Cowboys have made another trade. We got a new backup quarterback in town. Plus, we'll clean up some Micah Parsons things, some stuff on Schotty, Cowboys Draft, Dak, all the things. All the things. Welcome in. My name is Jeff. And today's show is going to be dedicated again to Val Kilmer. 2 in a row.
You got that shirt underneath again?
No, I wore it 2 days in a row, yesterday and the day before. I did watch Tombstone last night, and it was lovely. It was lovely. Love how they really disrespect Johnny Tyler early in there. Mm-hmm. First, Wyatt whips his ass and dares him to do something about it, and then Doc steals his shotgun.
Raise your hand if you watch Tombstone on this set.
I was going to say spoiler alert. Jeez. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. That and Man on Fire are on the list.
Is the theme song for Man on Fire, "This Man is on Fire"?
No, that's not.
Have you seen The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly?
Yes.
Okay.
Next to me is former Cowboys wide receiver Jesse Holley.
Oh, Jesse Holley went 77 yards. It must be a reality show.
I got 2 shout-outs today.
Okay.
I got 2 shout-outs today. I haven't had a shout-out all week.
Okay.
My first shout-out is to my boy Chris Brown, Chris Breezy, not that Chris Brown.
I was going to say,
He
he should not have done what
the
he
woman
did.
beater.
Not that Chris
The woman
Brown.
beater.
Not that
Say
Chris
goodbye.
Brown.
Eagles
my other
wouldn't scout
guy,
him.
Chris Breezy. Today's his birthday. Happy birthday, my brother. And my niece got accepted into another school.
Oh, let's go.
One that she wanted. She got accepted to Prairie View A&M University.
Hey.
And I am hoping and praying that she chooses that university because I want her to be in Texas so bad.
Who you rooting for?
So her 2 top schools right now are North Carolina A&T, which I don't mind Greensboro. North Carolina, you know what I'm saying? That's my heart too. But I would love for her to be within driving distance from me.
PV, you know.
I have a bad question.
So yeah.
You know. My dad went to PV.
I have a bad
Oh,
question.
this is PV.
Could I go?
Yes.
Yes,
Stop
you
it, stop
can.
it, stop it,
Yes,
stop
yes,
it.
yes, you
can.
can.
White
You can
people
play football there.
can be in any black organization, any black school.
Okay. Do you have to say it like that? I was just
Because
asking. I didn't know.
the idea you had to ask is my point.
Okay.
There are plenty of white people.
Is he
There-
invited to the
There are
cookout?
plenty of white people that go to black colleges.
I didn't know that
We're not discriminatory organizations.
I know because I'd seen
They are
football
created
games and I
because
thought I
they-
saw a white punter and I was like, okay,
Yes,
so
they've
there
been-
are okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
they've been white players, athletes at black colleges for a long time.
Because I want you to know that I like you guys.
There was a movie back in,
and I would like to hang out.
You
What do you
can
mean, you guys?
There's
Next,
Let's
Jesse
move on.
is
Let's move on.
greatest beat writer in the history of the Cowboys, Clarence Hill.
if you want to win, put pop up. They want the song,
They
man.
want
The
the
people want the
song.
song.
Where legends drop, Clarence Hill just can't stop. Breaking news, you gotta hop in Club Pop Pop.
Can we make that the UT fight song?
Yeah, Club Pop Pop's gonna be Club Pop. I want to shout out to my daughter who just got into a couple of law schools.
Let's go.
She's waiting for some more, but I'm also going to DC tomorrow to move her home
Oh, nice.
and bring her home before she goes to law school. So Club Pop will likely be muted for the next few weeks. Messed up my game. She better throw salt in my game.
Club Pop is temporarily shut down.
I announced yesterday that Val Kilmer has gone to the eternal Club Pop. That's what I'm referring to.
I saw it all in my game.
Next to Clarence is the second greatest beat writer in the history of the Cowboys, Mr. Joe Hoyt.
Tell him something, Joe!
Although it is a competition today because Joe did a nice article on Shamar Stewart, which if you're signed up to be a diehard, you've already read it. And all Clarence did was travel to the owners' meetings and gather a bunch of
news.
enjoying Florida.
And break
news.
Hanging out with the rich people.
Break news that went viral, stuff that nobody else had.
All right, Clarence is still number one.
Okay.
Clarence is still
Let's
number
tell
one.
it all. Tell it all.
I love Captain Thunder. He's on one already this morning. Look at Captain Thunder.
Oh, he's a Joe Milton stan.
Who's greedy today? Okay.
Do you see me for what I am? So
Wow.
see Joe for what he is. Do you see me for what I
I
am?
see you for what you are.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I can see that. Joe Milton definitely better than Dak. Yeah. So the Cowboys have traded for a new starting quarterback.
Yep.
Great value. Kevin Gray did not appreciate that little joke. Let's hit the super chats if they're on topic here. So like
They are.
Dan Myers, afternoon guys, trading a comp pick for a developmental QB is a smart move. Low risk, high reward. Few years of contractual control for a 6th-round pick money makes more sense to me than the Trey Lance trade. And Mustard,
Like him.
Mustard!
which I'll tell you, Mustard, if that's your name, I don't.
Mustard's a great condiment.
I don't want to disrespect your name. Mustard, the condiment,
It's great.
It's terrible.
It's better than mayonnaise.
Atrocious.
It's better than mayonnaise.
Yes, you're right.
No, it's
Mayonnaise
better than
is
mayonnaise.
even worse.
No.
I don't eat mayonnaise.
Oh, man.
Mustard said, Georgia fan, watched Milton at Tennessee. His nickname was Overthrow Joe.
Yes.
This
That is pretty funny.
Trey
That's
Lance
funny.
2.0. So let's
Thank you, Mustard.
just start there.
Let's start there. First of all, I wasn't here yesterday, but I heard somebody talk about who puts mayonnaise on hot dogs.
That's
That's
your
me,
boy.
yeah.
Joe.
That's your
That's
guy.
crazy.
That's your
Yeah,
guy.
it's
No
man.
one ever puts
That's
mayonnaise
your
on hot
guy.
dogs.
That's your guy.
I had
That's
people
your
tweeting
dude.
at me. I feel vindicated.
Nobody,
Our group,
nobody puts
we are
mayonnaise.
welcoming of everyone in our
No,
mayo and
you
hot
can,
dogs
you
group.
can put relish. You can put chili.
Trash.
You can put
Well, chili's
mustard.
good.
You can put
Trash.
ketchup. Never heard mayonnaise on hot dog. I didn't want to chime in. That's crazy.
That's your boy.
I would like to say, I would like to be real clear, as Jerry once said. Real. Because I could see this being viewed a certain way,
Yeah,
and I want to make sure it's not.
you're not on that team.
That is not a white people thing.
No, it's not a white people thing.
But also, I don't think any black person would ever do it. So it might be a white people thing, but I want to distance most of us.
No, it's a sector within the white community. It's a sector.
That is not my sector.
So, so anyway,
That's not my white. That's
get-
not my white.
Not my white.
Getting back to the Milton trade, certainly there have been rumblings about this for the past few weeks. I know Donna Rossini actually came up a few weeks ago talking about a 3rd-round pick. And so my talking,
Wow. She was carrying somebody's water.
my conversations at the combine, certainly the Cowboys were openly looking. I think I talked to you guys the other day about looking for a quarterback. They were certainly were not going to spend a 1st or 2nd day pick on a quarterback, and they certainly were not going to trade a 1st or 2nd day pick for a quarterback because they have too many needs.
Yeah.
But certainly the talk started ramping up at the owners' meeting for sure, and they get Joe Milton and for what you get for him, for what he is, for what you're looking for to control for the next 3 years. I think a total of $3 million.
$3.5.
$3.5 million. The Cowboys were interested in bringing back Cooper Rush, but his price tag was too high. I think he got like $4 million annually from the Ravens, and I don't think they wanted to go more than 3. You know, whether you think you should be nitpicking $1 million for a guy
cushions.
for a guy who wins games that can win games for you from a quarterback. You know, when your quarterback has been injured, we can nitpick that all you want, but the fact is they openly talked about needing and wanting to get a backup quarterback for Dak Prescott, whether it's in draft, whether it's in free agency. Certainly they weren't going to use a 1st or 2nd day pick, so it's going to have to be a 3rd day type of pick, and that's what you got in this trade. And again, it's a guy. You look at his profile going back to Tennessee. He's mobile. He got a strong arm. I think he threw the ball 80. You see,
He has a gigantic.
he can throw about 85 yards. So you look at his last game. He played the season finale for the Patriots last year. Compare his last game to Trey Lance's last game.
He threw a touchdown. He didn't throw a pick. He threw
like
78% completion.
I think it was 22 or 29. I mean, he looked good. So here's a guy that has good upside. It's a solid decision. We can stop the Quinn Ewers talk.
Yeah.
We can stop all the talk of these quarterbacks in the draft who are younger and are not going to really help you win this year if you need them to get on the field and win. this guy can come in and play.
Before you cook us, because I feel like you're going to disagree with us, they moved back 46 spots to do this because they also got a 7th-round pick from the Patriots to do this. This is a guy that, when you look at his athletic profile, the most comparable athletic profile to him is Josh Allen in terms of mock draft.
I was hoping it would be Trey Lance.
But it's also Paxton Lynch is on there. You know what I mean? And so there's also Justin Herbert, but there's also other guys that didn't work out. Joe Milton might not ever work out for the Cowboys, but his athletic profile, his potential, his howitzer of an arm, his ability to come in and actually be exciting during the preseason, frankly, like these are things I think are worth moving 46 spots back in the draft.
Yeah.
And I think the projectability, I don't know if you were going to get someone as raw and as talented on day 3 of the draft that you can get as Joe Milton.
And it doesn't stop you from drafting a quarterback.
No.
It doesn't stop you from drafting a quarterback next year. But for this year's team, it's an option worth investigating.
I just want to see if Joe's right.
No.
I want to see if you're going to tear anybody up.
What do you want them to do? What do you don't like the deal?
I'm fine with it. I think they won.
Oh,
They won.
wow.
Yeah.
We're on
The Cowboys
agreement.
won.
They won.
Yeah, it was a solid move.
What is that?
They won the contractual.
The trade part of it.
compensation.
Yeah.
Patriots fans aren't happy, by the
So
way.
you want me to tear him up? You don't want to?
What's the
Because I'm always the negative one.
What's that?
I-
What is there to be negative about this
always
move?
He's not a complete player. Like if we did the blind, no, you got it.
He's not a what? A complete player?
You got it.
Who you gonna get complete?
I didn't say complete.
Oh,
You said
got
good?
I was lying. I actually don't have it. I'm on their side kind of.
Okay.
Only because I think if your expectation of after trading for Joe Milton is like Captain Thunder style, like that's right, Dak, you're in trouble now. Like obviously that's silly. Like they traded for their backup quarterback.
Yeah.
And I think all this announces to me is sure, maybe they could still draft a quarterback in this draft. But I think what this announces to me is that the Cowboys looked at this year's draft outside of the top quarterbacks and said, hey, do we think that anybody that we would pick on day 3 is better than what we could get by flipping a 5th-round comp pick? And if the answer is no, I think that was their process, is they went, we think Joe Milton is a better player than whatever we could do on the 3rd day, and we are planning to pick a guy on the 3rd day.
Mm-hmm.
And so if we think that we can get better than that by just flipping this pick to a team with a new coaching staff, the coaching staff is kind of out on this guy, sure.
Yeah.
And so I don't think it's big and exciting, but I do think that like Cowboy fans care about everything. And so it's worth talking about. And I think it's way different than the Trey Lance thing, because the Trey Lance trade, 1, you gave up a better pick. And 2, you gave up a better pick for the guy that wasn't even your backup quarterback. Like that, I think, was very much a Jerry Jones style, like, you see what I've done, Dak? Watch your back, buddy. And this is very much we don't have a backup quarterback.
Right.
And we think for very cheap and for a pick that we would probably use on a quarterback, this guy's better than who we would pick. Right. And so it's just like okay, cool. That's how they decided to do their backup quarterback.
Yeah.
Instead of using a day 3 pick, they flipped one.
yeah. And there's been a lot of talk about Quinn Ewers and your boy in Oregon. I keep forgetting his
Dylan
name.
Gabriel.
Dylan Gabriel.
Put some respect on his name.
But, you know,
Don't you David him?
Not disrespecting.
Don't you David
I can't believe
Mulligan
you. I
him?
can't believe you, Jerry Mulligan.
I'm sorry. But there was a lot of talk about them. But the Cowboys, it is just talking to sources at the combine. They have too many needs to spend a 1st or 2nd day pick on a quarterback. They have too many other positions. They're trying, whether you believe it or not, trying to win now, trying to do what they need to do now for this football team. They can't afford to use a 2nd or 3rd round pick on a quarterback. They have other positions that are on fire right now that they need to shore up.
Yeah.
And so that was never going to happen.
I'll say this too. I mean, the Joe Milton situation is the same experiment / challenge that you just had with Trey Lance, and it didn't work out. So I think that's one caveat for all of this is like, I think Joe Milton
But
does
at least
have,
Milton is needed.
yeah,
Lance
no,
wasn't needed. You already had a backup
for
quarterback.
sure, for
right.
sure. But in terms of the high-end ability of like, hey, maybe one day if Dak Prescott, becomes injury prone, can this guy develop into someone that we can move into the future with? I still think the possibility is there, but it's a challenge. You're going to have to develop Joe Milton, ideally, without him playing, which is something that you did not work out well with Dak Prescott.
I don't think you do, though.
With
Like,
coaches, who don't have a history of developing quarterbacks. I mean, you can say
Yeah,
one
for
about
sure.
Mike McCarthy. He has a history of developing quarterbacks.
For sure.
But
okay, these guys don't have a history of developing young quarterbacks into big time starters.
I guess I think that's overstating the trade. Like I don't think like
No.
like there's I guess there's a pipe dream where it's
Well,
like,
that's what
oh
I-
yeah,
yeah.
and what if this guy's awesome? But they didn't trade for him to be awesome.
No.
To develop
They didn't
him.
draft,
They
they didn't
for
draft
the-
Dak Prescott, though, for him to eventually be the
No.
starter.
And, right,
It
but
developed.
and in this
He
case,
just was thrown out there.
They
Exactly.
traded for
Yeah, and it worked out.
they traded for this guy to be the backup quarterback. Like it's not going to be, and we got to find snaps for him and
Right.
see what he can become. Like, no, he's your backup quarterback for this year and next year. And
But that's still the ideal ceiling hope. Whenever you don't bring in a guy where you're like, oh, he sucks.
no,
He can.
You just brought in. We don't have one.
Yeah, but as Shotty was talking about competition, we want competition. But yeah, Dak's our starting quarterback. That was his word.
No,
we want competition in their positions, but yeah, Dak's our starting quarterback.
Coming up next, Clarence is back from the owners' meetings out there. We're in Florida, some classy joint in Florida.
West Palm.
And
Rich people.
we'll clean up some Micah Parsons things and other things we have learned from the owners' meetings out there with the Cowboys. That is next on the DLLS Cowboys podcast.
The American Rodeo is back at Globe Life Field for just 1 weekend. You don't want to miss this, April 11th and 12th. Over 150 rodeo athletes compete over 2 days for a shot at $1 million. This isn't another Texas rodeo. This is the only place to see every reigning world champion compete in one place. So do what I'm going to do. Grab your boots and hat, and we'll see you at Globe Life April 11th and 12th. Head over to AmericanRodeo.com to get your tickets. It's back-to-back nights of unmatched competition at the American Rodeo. Friday is the final qualifying round where dreams are made or broken. Then Saturday, it's the championship rounds where the best of the best go head-to-head for the ultimate title. 1 weekend, 2 unforgettable nights in Arlington. So head over to AmericanRodeo.com and get your tickets today.
Shout out also to our friends at Ownwell, OWNWELL, and ownwell.com/DLLS is where you're going to want to go to get hooked up and start a protest on your property taxes. That's what they do at Ownwell. I don't know if you've noticed this. I'm a homeowner that bought his house 7 years ago, and my mortgage payment has gone up $600. Like, the loan didn't change.
Yeah.
It's like, what is going on here? And the answer is, for most of you, the answer is property taxes. And that is something that you can protest, and Ownwell does that for you. It's very easy to sign up. And one of the beautiful things about it is they can put property tax back in your pocket back in just minutes. They handle everything from start to finish. They deliver top results. And the best thing, no upfront costs. You only pay money if Ownwell saves you money on those property taxes. The deadline to protest is May 15th for most counties, but save money on those property taxes with Ownwell. Sign up in less than 3 minutes and start your protest at ownwell.com/DLLS, OWNWELL.com/DLLS. All right, Clarence was living the good life. He had a suite. He had a suite with 2 kings and an ocean view as he was out there just working hard, trying to get things done for
GMB, and I was at a Fairfield Inn with a roommate, sharing a room, so we didn't spend too much money so I could go. I've never lived so low.
Who'd you share with?
Who were you sharing with?
Ledbetter.
Of course.
You were taking care of Ledbetter?
Yes, I've never lived so low.
That is Club Pop for sure.
At a
You
Fairfield Inn.
at a Fairfield Inn.
So I was trying to keep the money down.
Yeah.
Worrying about the company because I'm usually at a, main Marriott getting my, points and stuff
Well,
like
the
that.
best thing about hanging out with Ledbetter is you do get to feel a little youthful, don't you?
Yeah, you like that.
You could be Unc with him. He could be Pop.
He's Papa.
He could be Papa.
He's the real Papa.
He
I'm
could be
not
Papa.
Papa.
You got a birthday in a couple days.
This month, at the end of this month, working on that.
Couple days.
We gotta do a celebration.
Party?
It's
We gotta
draft
have an
weekend.
actual Club Pop celebration.
It's
man.
draft weekend, so we'll.
I'm going to turn my backyard into Club Pop Pop.
Man,
Pool
Pool?
party.
Man,
Little pool party?
we got
party
all
for Club
summer
Pop.
for that. We got all summer for that.
Okay, he said no, you're not
No,
going
he
to
needs
my
somewhere to
birthday
go. No, he needs somewhere to go. His daughter's coming back in town. He need to take Club Pop on the road. Gotta be mobile. Gotta be mobile.
But
Things we learned.
So I was not, living the high life because that's where the rich people live. Even Shotty was talking to Shotty, like, man, we don't live like that. He was on Bravo, Eugenia, and he just like, man, his eyes were popping. He obviously his dad was a coach, and he's been to a few of these things.
He ain't broke. I
He
know
had
that.
an aha moment, because he went to the owners meeting as a kid at 10 years old. He walked down the same hallways at the break. He's like, man, I was just here with my dad. Now I'm the coach of the Cowboys, and so he's very excited about being the coach. He and his wife, they don't really know how they got here because even Jerry acknowledged that he was initially being looked at as the offensive coordinator, and then they just started talking, and he kind of fell into the idea that, hey, maybe it can be our head coach. Talking to Ian Rappaport, he said Shotty's wife came up to him. She said, she acknowledged, introduced herself, hey, I'm Shotty's wife. Not I am such and such, but I'm Shotty's wife. We're using his nickname.
Mrs. Shotty.
Yeah, Mrs.
Mrs. Shotty.
Just to make sure that you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And she said, "Can you believe it? We're the coach of the Cowboys." So it's just like shock and awe. But regarding Micah,
That's encouraging.
I just want to I want to clarify a few things on the Micah thing and the Jerry thing, just because I was kind of at the center of most of it. Number one, I was told that Micah and Jerry certainly have had a lot of talks and a lot of dealings. They actually shook hands. It wasn't just a verbal thing. They actually shook hands on a deal. Okay, number one.
I love that Micah set him up so bad.
They actually shook hands on a deal, and when I was told it's the richest non-quarterback deal. Now, the idea that they're trying to get over on him, we could have a debate about that, but it wasn't like a Tyron Smith deal where it's a below market deal. It's the richest deal in sports. It's a fair deal according to the Cowboys.
Right.
Richest deal in sports. But it's how you
Not
do
in
business.
sports.
But I'm sorry. Non-quarterback
American
deal.
football.
Not quarterback deal.
Yeah.
But again, it's how you do business. You go back to a couple of weeks ago when I talked to Micah at his event, and his agent was there, and he said, "Man, don't believe what Micah's telling you. We ain't talked to them."
Jerry
okay?
believed it though.
We ain't talked to them, okay? We have not talked to them, and so that's what Micah put out the initial tweet about that after I wrote that story about how Micah's excited about possibly getting 40, which he already knew what the money was at that time. But we have not had any conversations, and I continue to talk even before I wrote my story about them having a handshake deal. His agents, said, I have not talked to them since the combine. He really didn't even talk to them. He talked to Adam Pacifica. He has not talked to Jerry or Steve.
Yeah.
Again, it's how
hard.
you do
they
business.
Don't have him in the phone. They don't know his name.
And certainly when you get down to it, and so that's when we kept asking Jerry, why have you not talked today? Because Jerry confirmed. Because is Jerry? Do I need to walk off with him? Is he going to confirm this? He just opened. Yeah, me and Michael have a meeting of mine. I said, what do you mean? He said, contract, term, length, everything about money. We got down. And it's so Jerry confirmed that what I initially reported about them having a deal. He's having a meeting of the minds, coming to an agreement on a deal, but it's not signed yet, obviously, because they haven't discussed anything with the agent. And you have to go through the agent, and certainly that's certainly part of it. And certainly David Mugoleta, which is his name. His name is David Mugoleta. He's a Dallas native.
I think you flipped a G and an L.
Mulugeta. I'm sorry. With our apologies.
Blatant disrespect.
But he's a Dallas native, went to UT, but he lives here. One of his first clients was Earl Thomas. No.
Yeah, no,
there it is. One of his first clients was Earl Thomas. That's how he got that's how he got into the business with Earl Thomas. And he hit it big with Earl Thomas, and he's a DB agent. He's one of the top your boy the Cleveland Browns quarterback. He did.
He got Deshaun Watson.
So he's done. He's
one of your boy to Jesse.
Yeah,
I don't know why you put him on me.
Listen. With all due respect, sometimes names escape me, so I'm just trying to, even when I say Cleveland, I know y'all gonna come with the name, right?
So my boy,
if you're, but you gonna come with the name. But yeah, so he took the high road. He's gonna take the high road because it's about Micah. It's not about him. But you got to come to him to do business, and you got to come to him to do the business, and they will eventually have to come to Mulugeta to get the business done.
Do you feel like when people are like, yeah, you got that Deshaun Watson deal done, do you think that he's really sad about that?
No.
Or like, because I would be like, yeah, like I know the stuff, but like it was my job, and I got that guy.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
It's the biggest fleece in NFL history.
Right.
While he was.
Yeah. Wow.
Just so we're clear. It's not my guy. Okay, just want to make sure we're clear with that. Because I don't want people.
I didn't mean it that way.
No, I know you didn't. I want to make sure they understand. It's not my guy. I go get massages and I do the right thing in that room. Okay, do the right thing in that room. So
I've been thinking about it.
And speaking of massages, my boy at the University of Texas on his way out of Baltimore.
Baltimore,
the kicker.
Texas.
Oh yeah, he also
Tucker.
Speaking of massages,
your boy.
Speaking of kickers, he on his way out of Baltimore.
Yeah, but with him, it makes a lot of sense to me that we could get into a little bit of a gray area. Because the leg that you're kicking with, all the different parts.
Yeah, but it's just another lesson that because
being a predator is bad.
No, it is being a bad, but it's another lesson. We don't know everything about everybody. Randy Moss he's a bad boy because he smokes weed. And so we put these labels on guys because of whatever, our opinions or what we think is good or bad. And then we label, go back to Tiger, guys, he's a statesman, he's all this. And they got some bad stuff too. You don't really know about people, and so as media people, we often label people good or bad based on arbitrary things.
For sure.
And Justin Tucker, in the same way with Deshaun Watson, he was considered a choir boy and all the other stuff. His home was built by
Warden Dunn.
Work done. His work done built his home. So I'm saying we don't know a lot about people, and so we learn about So it's as we go into the draft, and everybody's digging dirt on people. You don't know what you don't know. Is all I'm trying to say. But we'll see if this Micah deal gets done. It's like Micah. There was so much talk about him in the draft, but since he's outside of podcast, since he's been in Dallas, he's been a choir boy.
Yeah, there hadn't been any of the.
Nope. Go to break.
So
That's not break time. I said publicly.
He's worried about me.
Hold on, let me pivot.
I'm just saying we don't know, but I'm saying
He's worried about where I was going.
Let me pivot.
Okay.
You say it's gonna get done, right? So it's a matter of when, not if. But the when, there's some deadlines coming up in terms of being at OTAs and being things or what are you getting the sense?
That's a deadline to who?
No, that's what I'm saying is to whether he'll show up or not.
Well, yeah, but it's not. I mean. At the end of the day, long as whether he's there for day one matters.
Yeah.
I think that he wants to be there. Jerry wants him to be there. Jerry said that he needs to show more leadership and
I know.
and
but
all
will,
this other
but will
stuff.
he? You think?
Well, give me my money. Talk to my agent. Yeah. It's a process to doing all of this stuff. But the idea that if he doesn't have a deal about because they actually report in 2 weeks.
I know.
The new coach.
That's what I'm saying.
If he's not there in 2 weeks, I don't think it's going to mean. If he's not there in 2 weeks, what does that mean? No deal?
Put you some water.
That means he's a bad guy?
I didn't say that.
I'm just saying. So what's the deadline here?
No. There is a.
If he's not there in 3 weeks.
There's a marker coming up whether he's going to show up or not. Is he going to show up or not? It's not a bad thing in your direction.
But that's the way it comes across.
From me?
No. The idea that he needs to be here. We're not being a leader.
No. He said he wanted to be
he
there.
also said he didn't want $40 million. But
I know.
Things change. This sports are fluid.
No, that's what I'm saying. Wouldn't it be interesting if he does show up?
It would be interesting.
It would be interesting. If he shows up on day one, put ink to paper.
I would say very calmly. I think those dates matter because I think CeeDee Lamb himself told you that not being in training camp affected the way that they played football. And I think that Jerry Jones enjoys that what he said about David Mulageta is a giant headline right now and a downtime in the NFL. I think that getting the deal done, especially if you've already shaken hands with Micah Parsons, the general parameters, there's nothing stopping you from calling the phone number of the agent to get the job done and making sure he's at OTAs. But it sure is a lot of fun to be in the position of power and get to talk about people the way that you get to talk about people when you say, well, if he wants that kind of money, he don't have to be this kind of guy. And it's like, well, you already know the kind of guy he is, and you already know how much money you're going to pay him, so why don't you just get the deal done? And the answer is that the Cowboys are terrible at this, and they are at a competitive disadvantage, and they will probably not have Micah Parsons for OTAs. We'll see about training camp. I've heard his agent talk about the things you do when you're trying to get a contract done into a microphone, and that, you have to decide what you're willing to do to get your deals done, and you have to be able to stand by that, and blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, if you know the numbers, do it. Mm-hmm. Call his agent and do the deal. Don't pretend that, well, as long as he's here on day one, because Jerry during the season and at the end of the season said those things about CeeDee Lamb. He was like, not being here on day whatever is not stopping him from making a play in week one of the race. CeeDee Lamb disagrees with you.
Right.
100%. Yeah.
And he doubled down on that at the owners meeting that he says, I'd rather CeeDee Lamb. There was no urgency to get CeeDee Lamb done at training camp because I didn't want him to get hurt. He doubled down on that comment again at the owners meeting. The guy on the field.
It's a wild episode.
That is not an accusation, and if anybody were, good for you. Yeah, the guy playing the sport says that it hurt them to not be there.
And it's more important in receiver and quarterback than it is for defensive end.
I don't know. I mean, I've been told that we want to make sure that the new coordinator is going to move him around and be creative and know all these things.
No.
I think that part is the position, no, but to learning what you have to do in that position under this new coordinator is key.
But I think that's to me, that's more about training camp. He needs to be at training camp more so than OTAs.
Yeah, and I don't know if he'll be there either.
But the learning fundamental part of it comes now. Right?
It does, but you can still get it at training camp. If CeeDee was there with training camp rather than missing OTAs, there'd been a difference. The fact that he missed everything is what we're talking about.
Sign your player.
They got to wait and see, though.
If you shook his hand and you know the general parameters, what other than I don't have anything other than it's a cool headline throughout the offseason as a reason not to do it today.
Yeah.
Like, what is the reason if you know the parameters and all it takes is a phone call to an agent and you hammer out the dirty deets? Like, if that is all that's stopping you is dialing it.
Knowing Jerry might get it done during the draft. Give us another draft headline.
Headlines. That's our team, baby. Coming up next on the DLLS Cowboys podcast, we do have other Cowboy nuggets coming out of the owners' meetings. Also, guys that they're bringing in for pre-draft visits. All the things about your Cowboys is next on the DLLS Cowboys podcast.
Outdoor season is here. Outdoor season is here. And so if you're looking for the latest and greatest of all the coolers that you have out right now, Rugged Road is the one and the best in the market. Head over to ruggedroadoutdoors.com. Use the promo code DLLS and get 10% off a cooler today. Rugged Road, it's lightweight. Unlike other heavy-duty coolers, Rugged Road coolers are incredibly light, making them easy to transport on any trip without compromising on performance. They're durable and dependable. They won't break down. They look good. They look great. And most importantly,
They float?
they float.
Upright.
They
They
float
don't just float.
upright. They don't just float. So if you got sandwiches, you got drinks in there, you don't have to worry about that thing tipping over in the pool, at the pond, at the lake, at the ocean. It doesn't matter because their design keeps it upright each and every time. So head over right now to ruggedroadoutdoors.com and get yourself a cooler.
Shout out to our friends at Monarch Money who can absolutely help you out. Finances can be messy. They can be confusing. You've got, investments over here. You got monies over here. You got the bills that you pay over here. Our friends at Monarch Money, it's more than just your average budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center for your accounts, your investments, your goals. Don't just manage your money. Start building wealth with 50% off your first year for people who are watching this with our friends at Monarch Money. Start managing your finances and build the life that you actually want. They can help you get a clear financial picture that can bring your financial dreams into reach. They make money managing very simple, even for your busy lives. You get every credit card, investment, accounts, all these things in one place. You'll know where your money stands without the hassle, and you will be able to track all of the spending habits that you might not want to know about, but you need to know about. It's our friends at Monarch Money. Use the code DLLS at monarchmoney.com. and you will get half off your first year. All right, onward on the DLLS Cowboys podcast.
Let's knock some super chats out.
Let's knock some super chats out. Vance is in the super chat. Hope Milton will go back to his Tennessee days so he can overthrow the Jones family. That's funny.
Yep.
Funny. Casey's in the super chat. RQQ to the Qs.
Oh.
Rue, Casey.
Jeff, I'm on this UPS truck bringing your pool accessories. It's a lot of boxes and no snacks at your door. Bag of goldfish, maybe. I get you some goldfish. CT's in the super chat. We put mayo on a hot dog here, and I'm Mexican. LOL.
Let's go.
Oh, my God.
Thank you, CT.
Nobody does that.
Robert's in the super chat, just handing out dollars. We appreciate that.
Really bad.
Don't do that.
I almost said something.
But you can't do that.
I know.
Okay, we'll talk.
I know.
Ganja Man, DLLS should sit Dak
Ganja Man.
to recover and let Milton cook. Yeah, no doubt. Joe Milton should definitely have Dak's job. Mustard's in the chat. I'll be honest, I changed my name to Mustard just to hear y'all pull a Kendrick Lamar. You did not disappoint. Thank y'all. What's that mean?
Mustard's
DeRosa.
producer.
Mustard!
He's a producer.
Oh.
And so when they come on that song, you hear him say, Mustard!
Yes.
Sir.
His producer's name is Mustard?
Yeah.
Sir,
Yeah.
where you been? I
biggest
thought you was
producers
one
in
of
the game right
us.
I'm not one
He's
of
taking
us.
points. Take him away.
Didn't he say he was one of us before?
You keep trying to
I
say
mean,
he's
in a lot
black
of
man.
ways.
But not.
In a lot of ways.
He's this close. He's
Lower
this
half.
He's,
He
he's,
said you was
he's,
one of us.
he's this
Damn,
close.
you not Mustard. It's in all the songs.
Tommy Buster is, can we sign Allen?
What Allen?
Which Allen?
Iverson. Sign Josh Allen? Yeah.
Allen Robinson?
What Allen?
Sure. JCK, hey, what do you guys think of the Cowboys trading back with the Chiefs? You get 31, 64, and 95, while the Chiefs get 12. Cowboys can get Caleb or Travion. Those are running backs, wide receiver and corner in the second, D tackle and lineman in the third. It don't take much to get me to trade back, JCK.
That's a good deal.
I'm captain trade down.
That'd be a good deal.
I love to trade down, but you didn't have to pick a running back in the first round there. You don't have to do that. And I'd encourage you to not.
And speaking of that, speaking of running backs, speaking of Dallas Day, Ashton Jeanty is on the list for Dallas Day.
That's right.
And Dallas Day is like the greatest cheat code in the draft because Dallas Day is before the draft. Every team can bring in 30 people, 30 players, prospects that they're interested in. And those are considered your 30 visits. Some people call it the top 30 visit. I don't know why the word top has nothing to do with it. It's just a 30 visit. And you get 30 of them. But local guys you can have visit without counting against those 30. Ashton Jeanty's from Frisco.
Yeah.
And so he qualifies. Also, college players who played near here qualify. Mm-hmm. So any TCU prospect, free visit.
SMU.
The Cowboys are a cheat code
TCU,
for pre-draft
North
visits.
Texas, SMU.
Yeah. So the Cowboys have a cheat code. And if I were Jeanty, I'd be like, what do you mean come to Dallas Day where you're going to have 80 people out there? Like, you could pick me a different day, buddy.
Yeah,
and it would still count as a Dallas
Yes,
Day.
he will come. He can come on a different day. We talked about that. He can come on a different day. He may come today and not tomorrow. Certainly a lot of the Dallas Day guys have to work out. He's not working out.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, he's not doing the stuff that the other Dallas Day guys
Let me show you what I got.
But just talking to Shotty, Shotty's wife, Shotty.
Mr. Shotty?
Mr. Shotty.
Mrs. Shotty.
We talked about running backs, and I asked him about, he talked about the guys he wanted 12th pick, and he talked about outside guys, edge rushers and quarterbacks, guys who score touchdown with the ball, guys who play one-on-one. And he said it had to be a special running back to fit into that.
There's one of those.
And so outside of Jeanty, I just don't see them going running back with that 12th pick.
That's what I'm talking
about. If Jeanty's available, they'll still going running back at 12th pick. And Jamal Halton, he did a super chat. It's a different color. But 1999 to everybody but me because he's a Fake Show fan, Fake Show dead guy.
The Fake Show is not dead. They got the
Fake
best
Show
player
dead.
in basketball.
They're not winning a title.
Oh,
they talk about 16 titles.
They're going to win a title.
They're going to win a title eventually.
I'm the top 3 and I'm going to make the playoffs. That's not their standard.
They're going to win a title.
They're not winning a title.
They're winning a title with Luka.
No,
you don't think they win?
Not this year.
Not this year.
They might win this year.
No, the Warriors are winning this year. But
they might win this year.
Anyway, go ahead.
Ardell, he is Pop, no matter how much he protests.
Ardell, middle finger.
Will be friend throwing a super chat, $5 for Jeff's great joke that no one seemed to get. Which one was that?
He don't even get it.
No, I TC heard.
What was it?
When it was, I thought you were one of us or whatever, and I was like, I am.
Oh, lower half.
Ways, and he's like, name one. Lower half.
With busted knees.
So Quinn Ewers is also one of the Dallas Day visits. Savion Williams received from TCU as a Dallas Day visit. I'm sure Jack Beck is probably one too.
Jack Beck will be on there.
Beck, okay. Ollie Gordon from Oklahoma State running back.
Euless
Trinity.
I like him.
So there are a number of running back, number of different guys. I don't have the complete list with me.
It's a cheat code.
I got a feature coming out later today on Andrew Henry, an Allen alum that basically was ruled ineligible this past year at UNM because of a eligibility thing.
It's Allen. They're ineligible.
Dang,
right, Jeff?
He just cooked Allen.
No, I mean.
But anyway, check out DLLS. Give me a good
feature. The grades just below me, we did have some steroid stuff going on.
But everyone had steroid stuff.
One of my buddies got a full ride to a big school, and then as soon as he got there, they tested for that, and so he wasn't able to play because of that. But that happens sometimes. I didn't know there was. I don't need more Allen people. I don't appreciate Kyler Murray. What's wrong with Allen? I want to be Allen's finest.
Oh my God!
I want Allen, Texas, to be known as the place where Barney and Wishbone were shot, and where I went to school.
Barney was shot in Allen?
Yeah.
You didn't Barney was local?
I didn't know that.
Barney and Wishbone, same place.
Man,
the more you know.
My kids loved Barney.
Right there by Allen Bowl back in the day.
Okay.
Yeah. I forgot what I was doing. Aaron, super chat. Begging the boys to look at Mike Green's defensive teammate, J.J. Roberts, PFF's top-rated safety, going to be a steal. Also trade for
Aaron, you went to Marshall, didn't you?
Ali, running back from Ravens, and that is a Marshall guy also.
Oh, Aaron, you went to Marshall, didn't you?
Speaking of Mike Green, did you see the quote from the Eagles GM, Adam?
Yep.
Who said that guys with off-the-field issues, guys with
domestic violence convictions, which I think is an important word.
Yeah, he would not touch him. He won't even look at him, won't evaluate him.
Yeah, and I think that's fine. If they drive very, very fast and lead into accidents, they're fine.
Correct.
It's fine.
Good point.
Well, we all drive fast sometimes.
Yeah.
We don't all get convicted of sexual assault.
He woun't have taken a chance on Greg Hardy's and stuff like that. I can get him at a cheap price. I'm going to give me some Greg Hardy.
Was Hardy convicted? I don't remember.
He did that shit. Excuse me. That ist.
Who among us? Who among us has
Did you
never?
see the guns?
Who among us has never had a pile of assault rifles on the couch? Who among us?
That ist.
I mean, I thought that this was a free country.
There you go, Alan.
You gotta stop talking like it's you and me.
I mean, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. He just
But
made
you- I know, I know, but you,
I still can't get over him saying your boy.
I know. Like,
Okay, that was just
you be
listen,
talking like it's you and
I
me.
was trying to come up with the name of my Deshaun Watson. I've said it so many times.
No convictions.
Say Greg Hardy doing Uber now.
Nothing wrong with doing Uber. Nothing wrong with it.
After you
Not
got
a
knocked
damn thing.
between getting knocked out.
Nothing wrong with it.
Between getting knocked
Make a
out.
living.
TC, you ever get back on the lift, or are you still banned? Okay, he's back. He's back. Yeah, somebody tried to get one over on him, and then it messed up his account while he was driving. No, he was. Yeah.
You did that issue.
You ain't got no convictions? Okay.
not guilty. Anyway,
Stop with it.
Clarence, how's Dak?
Yeah,
That shape of his life, right? It's that
I
time of
don't.
the year.
He's
That time of
always,
the year,
does
right?
first of all,
He does look good.
when does he not look good? When has
I
he
know.
not worked hard? He's always the first win last. He's always out there working out. And yeah, just from some of the videos everybody's seen, and certainly Shotty talked about it, and Jerry talked about it. You know, he looks good. He looks great moving around, and he's on track. He's throwing the ball with his receivers. Certainly, we're going to talk to him next week at the Children's Cancer Fund event next Friday night.
Next Friday night.
And so we'll get a update from Dak himself if we don't get one before.
How you get
Also, I figure.
how you get quads like that? I'm trying to get them tree trunks.
I mean, you look at him,
It works out.
but he looks like he's slimmer. I mean, if the
Yeah.
chest is small, you can see he's in great shape, and certainly the quads, the legs, fine.
quads.
He's always had tree trunk legs, though.
Yeah.
You know, and so which I always thought the Cowboys should have been doing the tush push before the Eagles because he has that lower body. You know, you're not taking
You
advantage.
trying to get him hurt again?
No,
Told him to run.
His brother's offensive lineman. He's a big body build
He
guy.
is, but when he pushes off of a leg, he pops a hand.
I think you're trying to get him hurt again.
That was
Okay.
running, yeah, sprinting. I'm talking about he's a big guy.
Kirk
The
Cousins.
Cowboys 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. It's always should have been a Dak quarterback.
Well, we just need to ban.
you know,
we need to
I
ban him
think
too.
that, but he looks good so far. It looks like he's ahead of schedule. Certainly Jerry and Shotty talked about him being limited, you know, precaution wise as they are with all injured guys. He'll be limited in OTAs and in minicamp, but he should be good to go for training camp.
It was a
ready to go.
hamstring. How long did it take?
No, but they just cautious. You see he's out there
ripped
throwing
off
the
the
ball,
It was off the
but
bone.
it was off the bone.
was
How's he
surgery.
not-
Off
how's
the
he not-
bone.
How's he not ready? That was
They
like-
didn't say he wasn't going to be ready. They just
They
said they're
said-
going to be cautious with him.
They're talking about maybe not IRing him. Like, yeah, he could be back for the postseason.
They're
We're gonna get into
no one said
May?
no one said he wasn't ready.
He'll be ready.
Okay,
They just said they're going to be cautious as they should.
like he
But
he
one
pulled
thing-
his hammy a pregnancy ago.
Damn.
Like,
Well, he's pregnant again.
ain't it been like 8 or 9 months?
And one thing to note, you know, because I asked Shot, I don't know if I brought it up earlier, but asked him about the importance of the QB run with Clayton Adams as offensive coordinator, and he talked about that the QB run is not as important as you think. Certainly, Collar didn't want to run as much as he did. He several times that Collar didn't run, so that's what Clayton told him. And he said that the important thing about the QB run, or QB being able to be mobile, was for extending plays. You know, in the scramble. You know,
Joe
it's
Milton,
not like you need. They're going to be doing the
Wildcat.
zone read or the wild card thing like that. Is that when things break down, you need to be able to move and make yards and make plays with your feet. And he thinks that can still do that. That's what you want because the defensive ends are so athletic. The pass rushers are so athletic these days. You just can't be a statue in the pocket. You have to be able to move and make some plays when things break down. And he thinks Dak can be able to do that. You're not asking to be Mississippi State Dak or run around like Collar did, you know, on the zone reads, but you need him to be able to scramble and make plays.
Man, I don't have can't get a 40 time on Joe Milton.
No, he didn't run
I
one.
think it was 4.6.
He didn't run one at the combine, but
4.65 or something like that. I believe.
He's not Lamar Jackson.
no, but he's mobile.
Okay, pro day. They say
4.56.
somebody got him at
Okay.
4.56.
Yeah, I thought
That's
so.
a-
four-
that's
So
a-
there's
that's
our
a
whole
4.6.
quarterback. I think if we could move on from Dak and get Joe Milton out there, we'd be in a good spot and be ready to really
I don't know what you're trying to do today.
take this lead.
I don't know. I don't know.
There's
what you're trying to
an
do
energy
today.
in the show today.
I don't know what you're trying to do today, but
Would you say I have a spirit about me?
Yeah,
got a
you
spirit
do.
about
Definitely
you
got a
today.
spirit.
That's what
Always
I
have.
should say
Yeah,
that.
yeah. You got a spirit
I
about
got
you
a
today.
spirit
I
about
think it's
me.
one thing to note that, including Joe Milton, you look at all the guys the Cowboys have added.
A lot of hope.
There's a lot of hopes. It's about potential. It's about upside. Outside of the defensive end, your boy
Marvin Lewis told me a long time ago.
Dante Fowler.
Marvin Lewis told me a long time ago. Potential get you fired.
Oh, he will get you fired.
Hope is not a strategy.
But when you're spending $1 million, you're giving 1-year deals. It's all about what you can do. And the guys, Stephen was asked about why so many 1-year deals. He said because guys want to bet on themselves. They want to, try to get back out there if they have a good year. But the Cowboys are looking at upside with the Milton, with Kyrie Elam, with Kenneth Murray, with with the Turner. They're looking at them. Their production's not been great, but they hope they can get that production in Dallas.
Unproven is inexpensive.
Knights in the super chat. How do you feel about Landon Jackson?
Love me some Landon Jackson. You know who Landon Jackson had a really good game against?
Will Campbell.
Will Campbell, because Will Campell's arms are short.
They're
Landon's
not short.
Are long.
They're fine.
And Landon's are long.
I actually thought Landon's were short on tape, and I'm sure I was wrong about that. What was his? Did his end up being super long?
Yeah, he's got a good wingspan.
Yeah, got a good wing. Hold on, I'm gonna check before I go to break because when I'm doing something, I got to finish it.
That's fair.
His arms are 33.25, so they're like that much longer than Will Campbell's.
They're longer.
About that much.
They're longer.
Yeah, about that much.
No mayonnaise on hot dogs.
No mayonnaise on hot dogs.
Listen, you're not gonna get me. I've been reading these books. and they have been helping me. I've been reading. Self-control, baby.
Somebody wants your hat, Joe, for $2.
What is that? Some kind of brewing company?
Yeah, it's Bend Brewing Company in Bend, Oregon.
Y'all don't want my Cottonwood Creek Marina hat? Y'all don't like Lake Louisville? Y'all hate my friend Hunter? What's that about?
I actually like your hat a lot, too.
I got this at the Super Bowl.
You don't know what it is?
Polaris, that car company?
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Is that a Nazi hat?
Who that is?
That ain't a Nazi sign, is it?
I don't, sir, come on, man.
Coming up
You're
next.
trying to get I need my check, man.
Yeah, you got law school to pay for.
I need my check, man.
You got
Stop
law school
it,
to pay
man.
for.
Stop it, Kanye.
Who cussed
Kanye, stop it.
Who cussed on the show today?
I said ish.
That is true.
Stop it, Kanye.
That is true.
Coming up next on the DLLS
going on around here.
Cowboys podcast. The things we have left over, and we'll see if I feel like we need to do a draft position preview. And if we do, you tell me what position you want to hear about. That's all next on the DLLS Cowboys podcast. I also want to encourage you to be a diehard. All jokes aside, Clarence Hill's a badass. That dude's got scoops on scoops on scoops. And if you want access to everything you need to know about your Dallas Cowboys, he's got scoops on scoops on scoops. Joe has scoops on scoops and does kick-ass features. Shamar Stewart, Teteroa McMillan, all sorts of good stuff. And if you want access to all of this content, all you got to do is sign up to be a diehard. Very affordable pricing. And then you get an ad-free experience on the website. You get access to all the diehard content, not just for the Cowboys, but for every local team. And you're a DFW diehard, so that's what you want. So you want to be a diehard. You get all that stuff. You get your carrying card, which I'm told we're going to get.
Sources indicate.
I'm told that we're going to get.
Jim Ben.
Because if there's one thing bosses don't like, it's you talking about them on the air. I think we've talked enough that we're going to get these cards. Also want to encourage you, if you're signed up to be a diehard, you get a discount to this. April 25th. Is our golf tournament. And we would like you to be there. It's going to be after day 1 of the draft. It'll be the Friday of day 2 of the draft. So from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., we'll be out there. You get your continental breakfast, get you a foursome out there, sign up. Get out there. Yeah! Of course, it's for a good cause. We can hang out and talk Cowboys draft until it's time for me to skedaddle back down here and get ready to talk about it and do the draft. And we would love you to be there. Golf tournaments are fun. It's fun. And we'd like to hang out with you. Won't you hang out with us? Won't you be my friend?
Won't you be my neighbor?
If I thought we weren't friends.
Hammer got a bar.
Hey, chill out. I'm doing a Doc Holliday
I'm sorry.
here in honor of Val Kilmer. If I didn't think we were friends anymore, I don't think I could bear it. So sign up so that we can be friends. Thanks.
R.I.P.
I'm sorry.
R.I.P. Val Kilmer, who's headed to the Club Pop Pop in the Sky.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's moved on.
Shout out Brad. Bend, Oregon from Bend, Oregon. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hammer UK 21.
All right, it's the DLLS Cowboys podcast where Jeff says hot dogs are basically bologna in tube form. It depends on where you get the hot dog from. I will tell you that Jesse and I have both made eating mistakes in the last 2 days. I had a 2-day hankering for a hot dog, and when I finally decided to do something about it, I went to a fast food place to get it, and it was bad. 2 days I'd been ready for a hot dog, and I went low class on it, and I shouldn't have, and I was very disappointed.
Yours is there's more disappointment with yours. Yours is I just feel bad.
Jesse had a donut mistake.
Yep.
But that wasn't on you.
He had a donut mistake.
Wasn't my eating lifestyle has changed. So the days that I get a chance to actually get food that I actually enjoy, I want it to be a home run. And today I thought to myself,
yeah,
you deserve a Boston cream donut.
And you do.
And I do.
You do.
I worked really hard for
You
it.
do.
And so I went to one place that I knew that I can get a Boston cream donut from. I'm an East Coast guy, Northeast.
Yeah.
So I grew up on Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh, you don't have to call them out.
Yeah. Slid by the old Dunkin'.
Yeah.
And
It's a nice place.
it is. Good establishment.
Yeah.
Good people. The lady was so happy at the speaker.
Yeah.
So happy. We traded pleasantries, and then I get to the window and she gives me my Boston cream donut, and I drive off.
Hell yeah, you got that donut you wanted? That's what I'm talking about.
I drive off.
Yeah.
One bite into that Boston cream donut,
No cream.
none.
No cream.
It's a Worcester cream donut.
2 bites into that Boston cream donut,
no cream.
no cream.
No
Okay,
cream.
no cream.
3 bites into this Boston cream donut,
All dust.
no cream.
No cream.
Cash rolls
I just
everything around me.
had a dry donut, and I was so upset because the sugar, the calories,
Yeah, you
the
like that
fat,
cream.
no.
I have to say you do.
You don't have to do the very low hanging.
I mean,
it was.
At least be
It is donut.
correct.
yes,
Yes.
my donut.
He prefers the type of donut where when you take that bite, there's an explosion
There you go.
in your mouth. Like when,
He gonna jump right on the board with you.
Yep.
like I love eating gushers for the same reason.
I love a gush.
I love a gusher.
I love that.
What we doing today?
I love it.
This show is off the rails today.
Did you just?
How much caffeine did you have?
Show is off the rails.
What former Texas Ranger legend did you destroy?
Corey
Oh, you
Seager.
not even former. It's a current.
I gotta glue it back together. I got some super glue.
He just double dacked Seager.
it just fell off. He broke. He broke like Dak's legs. Come
You
on.
double dacked Seager. I'll be damned.
If Corey Seager gets hurt, this is on you.
Let's get to the super
It
chat.
was Jeff's fault.
Let's get to that. Is not my fault. Nothing's ever been my fault.
You went to Gushers.
Okay, gushers.
Gush juice.
I love the word gush. Though. Brandon's in the super chat. What do y'all think of the 3 Colorado wide receivers? I really like Will. I'll tell you the Colorado receiver I really like.
Travis Hunter.
I like the little guy too, Webster.
Yeah.
They got
Will
little.
Shepard's solid.
Yeah, they got, and then they got what? Horn is the other one. They got a bunch of
Yeah,
dudes.
Jimmy Horn.
Yeah, Jimmy Horn.
Yeah.
They got a bunch of dudes. I like the Travis Hunter one. But I do think the little guy, I think Webster's the little one, right?
Yeah,
DeJounte
yeah.
Webster.
Yep.
Like, he's a little, he's a little, I call him squirty receivers.
Like
And,
Scatterbug?
Jesse's uncomfortable with that.
No, I'm cool with
But
that.
they just kind of,
I like my donuts.
yeah. yeah.
Off the rails.
Carries in the super chat, Freak Jesus. Pop. Do we really need to draft a running back when we got the deuce to let loose?
Come
this
on,
year?
man. Stop it.
What?
They're not dropping the deuce.
Oh, why you gotta say it like that?
They need to drop the beat.
Delay 702's in the super chat. I would love to get a wide receiver at 12, but if we can get a plug and play at right guard, I would love it. And what player do you guys think that can be?
I love me some Kelvin.
Based on their profiles, they're not taking a guard at 12.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
If you guys were watching me on YouTube like 2 hours ago, you've already heard this. But I tweeted yesterday that I thought Will Campbell would be a good pick for the Cowboys at 12 that I haven't seen really talked about. And a lot of people have him going kind of 9 or 10, so maybe you won't have the chance. I think 2 of my favorite offensive linemen in this draft class are a great fit for the Cowboys, and I don't think they'll take them.
Yeah.
And I worry that they may be leaving the best player on the board because they don't want to threaten last year's first-round pick. But I think both Will Campbell and Kelvin Banks at Texas, and I had to just say, I read all the draft stuff I can find. There are lots of analysts that I respect. I think when you see what is happening in like everyone's mock draft, it's probably reflective of what the league thinks. So leading up to the draft, I probably won't talk about Kelvin Banks as much because it seems like he's not going in the 12 range anymore.
No.
And so I will talk about instead Will Campbell, who I like them about the same. I like them both a lot.
Yeah.
And I think Will Campbell can absolutely step in and start at left tackle as a rookie in the NFL, and I think he will. And I also think that if you were the Cowboys and you drafted him because you don't trust what you have at left tackle, that would be a good idea, especially if he's your best player available. And it's a bonus that if you showed up to camp and you really like the way Tyler Guyton looks, Will Campbell could go kick ass at right guard. Like, I think that would be a good pick for the Cowboys. If the best player available plays offensive line, I want them to do it. I don't believe they will.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much time we'll spend on it. But I think that would be a good pick. I am not a believer in, no, we've spent too much at this spot. I'm a believer in look at your roster and tell me what you need and what would make you better.
And I think that if they go with a pick like that, then you get a running back, you probably don't get the receiver you need.
Very possible.
Yeah.
Very possible.
You know what I'm saying?
Like that's yeah, I get it.
You probably don't get the receiver that can help you now.
And
But you do get the running back.
And I think that's the balance that you're playing with is how much are we doing this for what we need and how much are we doing this for this guy's going to be here for 4 or 5 years, cost controlled. I want to pick the best football player I can find. And that's the thing that teams have to battle with.
Yeah.
If the Cowboys go wide receiver, running back, D-tackle,
Yeah.
if you want to go needs,
Yeah.
the odds that they picked their best player available is probably near zero because it just lines up with exactly what you needed. And that's a good way to miss. But it's also not non-existent. Like what you need matters.
But you can also play the long game with the running back situation because while there are other running backs all across the league, like that are on teams currently today,
Yeah.
they may not be when we get to June and July. July and August, excuse me.
Yeah.
When we get to July and August, those running backs may come off and that you're able to bring in a running back, later on down the line. So it may not be a bad thing if you do not get a running back of your liking. If you go that route you were talking about.
Yeah.
Because there are going to be running back that we'll see in training camp, we'll see in preseason that won't make rosters that are good enough to be on your football team.
Yeah.
Later in the draft, though, too, there is.
Right.
There's
And
a ton.
I think it's possible that there are NFL starters in the 5th, 6th round that play running back. I think that's totally possible.
Ollie Gordon could be a really good running back in the NFL.
And I think that there's like 2 to 4 other guys like him. Like Ollie Gordon is the Oklahoma State running back.
Euless Trinity.
He's the hammer, right?
Yeah.
He's this dude is going to run it and you're going to feel this tackle and he's going to get yards after contact. Damian Martinez is like that at Miami. Your guy Jordan James is like that at Oregon.
Yeah.
Like, there's going to be guys available later that I think can be starting running backs.
And RJ Harvey's going to be.
RJ Harvey is
UCF.
for me he would go before everybody we just named, but
100%.
who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of dudes that are solid running backs in this draft. There's probably 12 to 15 starting caliber.
I want Henderson.
Travion Henderson.
Yeah.
I do too.
Yeah, I think
want
him in the
Henderson.
second round would be fantastic.
Yeah, I want Henderson.
I think if you went wide receiver, running Travion Henderson, and then Alfred Collins or another defensive tackle that's just a stud in the middle in round 3, I think that is a really good haul.
And I think the Cowboys are going to love Travion Henderson. I think a lot of teams are going to love Travion Henderson, and I'm going to tell you why. This is the Ohio State running back who's probably going to be, I mean, it's possible that he's picked somewhere towards the end of the first round. But I would guess he'll be a second, third round pick, probably a second round pick. I think what teams are going to love about him is when you talk about, how do I do this without talking bad about anybody on the Cowboys team? I will say all young people are different, and a lot of them have different levels of maturity and professionalism.
Yes.
I became a professional at like the age of 37, so I can't judge anybody who's like 21 years old and like whatever, and like their work ethics.
Those are facts. That's fair.
Right.
Yeah.
But Travion Henderson is one of those dudes where the first thing that stands out when you watch him is he's 208 pounds or whatever. Like he's not a 230-pound guy. And when a
But
blitz,
he looks like
He
it,
looks
though.
wide,
Yeah, he
though. That's
looks
the
wider
crazy
than
thing.
that.
he
He
is
is,
what,
right.
like 5'10"? Like he's
He
not.
looks bigger than Junkins. And what's the is it
Yeah,
Junkins?
Junkins is bigger than him.
I know, but he looks.
But he
if
looks
you watch him
like
play,
in
he
film,
looks
yeah.
more compact.
I think he's
But
like wide. It's cool.
Yeah.
I think like there are guys who don't respond well to adversity. There are guys who don't know the difference between hurt and injured. There are guys, and then there are things about certain positions that I think when you see guys play that sticks out of he cares about the details and he works incredibly hard. Travion Henderson is not a big running back, and a blitzing middle linebacker who comes free is going to feel him.
I love it.
Like he's not half-assing pass pro. He's going to hit you. He will step on the track with a 340-pound defensive tackle, and he doesn't care.
The clip against Derek Hartman, when Derek Hartman comes free and he puts his face right in his chest.
Yeah.
I love it.
He has fumbled once, and it was as a freshman. Like all of the things that you go, okay, you can play, you make big plays, you're a good running back. Now let's drill down into the details.
Right.
Like what do you do details-wise?
Yeah.
You protect the ball, you protect the quarterback, you do all the things that when you're a good enough running back, your draft stock is not going to drop around because you had 3 fumbles.
And
you're
those
not
are
going to
the-
drop around because you're an average to below average pass protector. But if you can do all of those things, I know he used RS. You give a damn.
Right. And those are the intangibles that keep guys in the league for 10 years.
Yeah.
Right. Those are the things that you come into the locker room with. Those are the things that keep you around locker rooms. Coaches want you on their football teams. And where your career may end at one point in time, you extend it by 2 or 3 years more because coaches like who you are, like the character parts about it, like the intangible parts about you, and how that can translate to other players in the locker room. So that gives you an extra 2 years in a league where you may be done as a player.
I think he's going to be a very popular name to the Cowboys in the second round. I think he'll probably be the most popular name to the Cowboys in the second round if he is available. Travion Henderson, Ohio State. Got it? Get it? Got it? Good. Great. Thanks, guys, for stopping by today. Congratulations on your new starting quarterback. Look forward to Dak backing him up and making sure that he's ready to play. Joe Milton. Remember, you have no idea.
Like Shady McCoy right now.
Remember, you have no idea what anybody's going through, so be cool to everybody. We love you. Be easy.
Eliminate the contingency.
We all silly like the mayor.